Hey there, everybody. Thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be taking a look at a book that I definitely slept on and shouldn't have slept on. This is Stone Fruit by Lee Lay. I did not get this when it come out, and so I snatched it up in the latest Fanabucks sale, and really enjoyed this book. It is just really well written, and the art is really nice in it. There's some things that I find a little bit strange about the decisions in the art, but it all looks cool, so I don't really mind. I'm going to try to not give away too much of the book because I definitely think it's something that everyone should go read. Really well written. So we're introduced very quick to the basic three main characters, which are Ray, her partner Braun, and her niece Ness. So this is Rachel Bronwyn, and then Ness is her niece. And Ray's sister Amanda had divorced her husband, and Ray is basically been helping like a couple times a week take care of Ness, just babysit her and go do things with her. And Ness has formed a really close relationship with Auntie Braun, and they go out. They're supposed to be like at the mall and stuff, but they go out and they like to play in the forest, and Braun and Ness really create like a fantasy world together. So you get these really fun sequences where they're running around just getting dirty in the mud in the woods, and you can see that the style changes to where they look like kind of monstrous. You know, they're letting their feral selves out and they're going and having fun playing, and when they come out of that, then it will go back to this kind of illustration here where they look like characters. There's also a lot of what looks like gouache or acrylic painting going on in the book. That was the one thing that I found a little bit confusing, is it didn't seem to have any kind of narrative purpose. It just seemed to be a decision that Lee Lai's making, like, I don't know, this panel will look better with it and this one doesn't need it. It's not like every time you're outside you get the painting, and when you're inside, you know, it's just kind of randomized. So I don't know if that's a rhythm thing or what, but it was just a question I had about the why of it. It seemed just, yeah, if the artist felt like it, they did it, and if they didn't feel like it, they didn't do it. So that's a bit strange to me, but it looks cool. The paintings are nice. I like them. But really what you get then from here is an exploration of people's relationships with their families, especially people who don't fit into the standard societal norms of the family. Like Braun's family is conservative Christian family. Ray's family's like a more, I don't know, stereotypical Asian family with kind of the strictures that come with that. So they have problems with their families, and it's really just an exploration of what it means to be family and what it means to love someone still when you have those kind of differences in opinion and things as barriers between you. It's also, I don't think this is too much of a spoiler because it happens early in the book, those things kind of come between Braun and Ray Braun needs to go and figure her life out. And so there's that in the book too, like this breakup, and how during the breakup the family becomes important. And it's just, again, this like down to earth drama that's character driven, which is the kind of thing that really appeals to me right now. And always when it's that kind of book, I think what you really need for that kind of book to succeed is well written dialogue that really makes you feel the characters, you know, what they're going through, and it just has that natural flow to it. So like this page is a good example. They're talking about being a parent, basically. You know, do you know what that means? It means cutting up toast soldiers when you haven't slept proper in a week, singing Timmy the Tortoise, or whatever the hell you feel like you're when you feel like you're choking. This doesn't get to be like, let's swoop in and take baby off of tired mom's hands, and you get all the fun and magical stuff all the time. You said you wanted to be family again. This is it. And like, that is what family is. It's kind of, you know, it's not people you pick, it's people you're stuck with, you're born into. Like, I was always the outsider in my family just because my kind of political, philosophical opinions were too left-wing relative to the rest of them, and I was the artistic creative one, and the rest of them are blue-collar worker, white-collar worker type of jobs, and I just never fit. But it's like, they're still family. Like, when shit gets real, they'll be there for me, and you know, that kind of washes over all the other stuff. They're not people, most of my family aren't people I would ever choose to hang out with if they're just people I ran into, and this really gets into that. that there is this kind of extra bond there, and there are responsibilities that come along with that. And if you're going to choose to help raise a kid, then you can't just like get the fun part, and you can't well, I'm not feeling good anymore, so now I'm not going to take care of the kid because I don't want to expose the kid to me when I'm not happy. It's like that's part of it. The kids got to see you that way. And so they again here just like reiterate, you don't have to be the fun magical Auntie Ray, you just need to show up, and that's more important. And so it's that kind of dialogue and that kind of thought that I find really, really compelling. And here you see that where like she's not having much fun, but the kid can be having fun. So it's like they're telling a story, and draw her swimming, and the auntie gets to draw the story for the kid. And it's like, as long as you can show up and let the kid have the space to be the kid, then things will work out. And I just remember, this is so cool too, because this is like before I could ever even draw, I was narrating stories or before I could write, I would narrate stories to my mom, and she would write them down, and then I would do these crazy sloppy drawings. So even from 4 or 5, like I was engaged in this practice with my mom helping me of writing stories that had pictures in them. And obviously the impact of that was huge in my life. It set the whole tone for my life. And I'm sure my mom wasn't feeling good on some of those days, but I still have some of those. We still have some of those. Monsters on Vacation, Zed Goes to Outer Space. Like, thankfully my mom kept that stuff. And yeah, I don't remember anything about how my mom felt on any given day as a kid, but that changed the whole course of my life. And then I just wanted to show this sequence as well, where there's some more variation in like the tones of the ink, where this is actually like that gouache material that's in there. Some abstraction, I just think, is like some beautiful little images here. So it's a really thoughtful book. It's a really character-driven book. It has a lot of good dialogue. I think there's a lot of really just like great lessons about handling the tough parts of life in here, and a really thoughtful approach to how kids are relating to the struggles of adults. And there's Braun has a teenage sister, so you kind of see it at different stages as well. So really, really, really great book. Really enjoyed it, and I would highly recommend it to anyone like me that had heard about it, looked at it, kind of, looks all right, but I'm not super sold on it. I really enjoyed this book and highly recommend it. If you've been sleeping on it, go get yourself a copy.
Like and subscribe and hit the bell, please, so Carson can finish reading his books and let me go home.